A Chinese man in Russia walked into a supermarket and tried to pay with RMB banknotes. The cashier immediately waved him off impatiently with a look of disdain and said, "Can't use RMB, no." She added, "There's a supermarket right here. Go in and check if they accept RMB," making it clear that Chinese currency was not welcome. The video quickly went viral, with many viewers noting that the cashier's attitude showed obvious contempt for the RMB. A similar embarrassing moment was captured in Thailand involving a Chinese female tourist. When she handed a street vendor a 100 yuan note, the vendor refused it, telling her companion, "This money can't buy anything. This is abroad, domestic currency can't be used here, so put it away." The woman, visibly confused, insisted, "But why can't I use it? It should work everywhere." In the end, she gave up and walked away, still clutching the rejected banknote. Both widely shared videos illustrate the shock and humiliation felt by some Chinese travelers when they discover that, despite years of official propaganda about the internationalization of the RMB, their currency is often met with outright rejection or scorn in everyday transactions overseas. The comment section erupted. Some mocked her. "RMB is used globally. It's the world's settlement currency, far ahead of others. How dare they not accept it?" Others were baffled. "Is this real? Don't we need to exchange for local currency when traveling abroad?" Many pointed out, "This lady has some strange confidence, thinking she's holding US dollars. She's been completely brainwashed by the CCP and genuinely believes in the internationalization of the RMB." Another traveler said, "Renminbi in the Kremlin area district. You can't use it. I was shocked today that RMB can't even be exchanged in Crimea. I was about to buy a train ticket back to China but had no money, so I went to the bank with RMB. The staff told me they only accept USD and euros." Someone added, "Before going abroad, we all thought our currency was so strong, but once we got here, we realized some banks don't even take RMB." One user tried to prove otherwise. "Let me show everyone that RMB can be used in Saudi Arabia." Ah, so embarrassing. I really thought RMB worked. This isn't clickbait. Looks like I've been scrolling TikTok too much. I need to stop. Another video titled, "Hello everyone. Today we're taking you to the vegetable market in Laos to test whether RMB is accepted," showed vendors shaking their heads. 7,500 kips, do you want this RMB? No. Even in Belt and Road countries, especially in Central Asia where trade with China is frequent, RMB is almost never accepted in local shops, markets, or restaurants. In contrast, the US dollar enjoys clear advantages for travel, thanks to its global circulation and historical status. Beijing's long push the quest for RMB internationalization. For years, the Chinese Communist Party has been aggressively pushing the internationalization of the RMB, aiming to raise its standing in the global economic system and gradually reduce reliance on the US dollar. This effort involves not only monetary policy adjustments but also geopolitical strategy, international trade rules, and financial regulation. The CCP has shown fierce determination not to fall behind in digital finance, attempting to seize the lead in the digital currency race by launching a digital RMB stablecoin. This is designed to avoid the speculative risks of traditional cryptocurrencies while turning it into a highly controlled central bank tool. In June this year, at the Shanghai Lujiazui Forum, People's Bank of China Governor Pan Gongsheng declared that China would accelerate the internationalization of the RMB and advance cross-border payment systems. His speech was also a strategic response to the global stablecoin landscape, where USD-dominated stablecoins like USDT, Tether, and USDC, USD Coin account for over 90% of trading volume, effectively creating digital dollar hegemony. That same month, the U.S. Senate passed the Trump-backed Genius Act, a stablecoin bill requiring stablecoins to be backed 1.1 by US dollars or other low-risk assets. This legislation will speed up the everyday use of USD-backed digital currencies. In short, stablecoins combine the credit of the US dollar with the speed of blockchain, building a bridge between traditional finance and the digital world. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent openly stated on X in June that stablecoins strengthen the dollar's dominance in the global monetary system. He believes global users prefer USD-backed stablecoins over European or Chinese central bank digital currencies because they trust the U.S. private sector under U.S. regulation. Against this backdrop, and while Trump's policies reshape global supply chains and trade, the CCP is eyeing another battlefield: RMB versus USD stablecoins. A race against time, China's push for RMB stablecoins. Inside China, discussions about issuing RMB-backed stablecoins have been heating up at forums like Lujia Zuwai, involving security firms, government bodies such as the Shanghai State-Owned Assets, Supervision and Administration Commission, the central bank, and companies like JD.com and Ant Group, all publicly urging the PBOC to approve RMB stablecoin issuance. In reality, USD stablecoins have already quietly become popular in China's foreign trade sector. In Yiwu, the world's largest small commodity hub, at least 30% of merchants now use USD-backed stablecoins for settlement, and local authorities have turned a blind eye. At a jewelry booth in Yiwu International Trade City, a Middle Eastern buyer scans a QR code. No familiar Alipay logo appears, just a string of letters and numbers. Seconds later, the Chinese seller gets a notification. USDT received $12,000. Scenes like this are repeated across Yiwu every day. Recently, rumors claim more than 3,000 merchants in this global distribution center have started using stablecoins, with monthly transaction volume exceeding $1 billion. Yet when you ask random vendors, 9 out of 10 will shake their heads. Stablecoins? Never heard of them. We only accept RMB and USD. Behind this contradiction lies the survival wisdom of cross-border business people. Mr. Wang, who wholesales small appliances in Yiwu, ran the numbers. A traditional cross-border remittance through banks and exchange companies costs a combined 3% fee and takes 3 days to arrive. Using USDT, the fee drops below 0.1% and the money lands in minutes. For him, that saved cost is equivalent to earning an extra half container of goods for free. Some call this the future of cross-border payments. Others see it as a risky game played on the edge of the rules. But for Yiwu merchants, the most practical concern right now is simply selling their goods in the cheapest, fastest way possible. The growing use of USDT for payments in Yiwu reveals a deeper shift in the global trade and finance landscape. In China, the quiet rise of USD stablecoins is no accident. It is the natural choice under the real pressures of cross-border trade. Faced with the high costs, inefficiencies, and regulatory barriers of the traditional banking system, stablecoins have become the gray area channel for Yiwu merchants and their overseas buyers. While most vendors stay tight-lipped in public, behind the stalls, digital wallets and blockchain addresses are quietly becoming the new standard for receiving payments. This underground dollarization trend has already attracted the attention and concern of Chinese regulators. The widespread use of USD stablecoins not only bypasses foreign exchange controls, but also undermines the RMB's role in cross-border settlements. More critically, it exposes China's lag in digital currency infrastructure. While the digital RMB has yet to gain any meaningful international acceptance, USD-backed stablecoins have already made deep inroads into global trade. Economists point out that Beijing's real worry is not the trade war, but the possible outbreak of a financial war before the digital RMB is fully ready. In simple terms, the Chinese government is now urgently pushing for RMB-backed stablecoins to defend against the financial aggression of the US dollar. On August 20th, Reuters reported that China is considering allowing the first-ever issuance of RMB-backed stablecoins to further promote the currency's global use. This marks a major policy shift on digital assets. Sources say the State Council will review and possibly approve a roadmap in late August to accelerate the RMB's internationalization, explicitly including catching up with the US in the stablecoin sector. The signal itself is loud and clear. The next battlefield is digital finance, and the CCP refuses to be left behind. On the local level, rumors claim Shanghai's Lingang area is trying to seize the opportunity by establishing an international digital RMB operations center. Meanwhile, Hong Kong's stablecoins ordinance officially took effect on August 1st. On August 17th, Hong Kong Financial Secretary Paul Chan wrote that the government aims to build a commodity trading ecosystem priced and settled in RMB, contributing more actively to the currency's internationalization. Yet according to SWIFT data, as of July 2025, the RMB's share of global payments lingered at a mere 2.88%, the lowest level in 2 years, while the US dollar maintained an overwhelming 47.94%. Outside the Eurozone, the RMB accounted for just 2.11% in July 2025, while the dollar's share soared to 59.59%. These numbers lay bare the long road ahead for RMB internationalization. Limits of the yuan, why RMB stablecoins face global headwinds. Many experts believe China faces insurmountable obstacles in building a successful RMB-backed stablecoin, and that it is unlikely to become a major global force in the long run. Erica Tay, head of macroeconomic research at Maybank Malaysia, noted that an RMB-backed stablecoin faces enormous challenges to global success because the RMB itself still accounts for only about 4% of global payments, far behind the US dollar. More fundamentally, a government-promoted RMB stablecoin and privately issued USDC represent two completely different logics and development paths. USDC, issued by private companies under limited regulation, achieves free circulation and relative stability without the wild swings of other cryptocurrencies. It embodies the core spirit of decentralization and has successfully brought what was once a gray area technology into the mainstream financial system. An RMB stablecoin, by contrast, would inevitably be issued directly by the People's Bank of China, with its primary goal being maximum regulatory control, effectively eliminating decentralization and creating a form of financial authoritarianism. It would essentially be the digital RMB wearing a new coat. In fact, China began planning the digital RMB, ECNY, as early as 2014. Yet today, its internationalization has made virtually no progress. Why? First, trust. Foreign users lack confidence in the transparency of the Chinese central bank. Second, ecosystem. Unlike USD-backed stablecoins, the ECNY has not integrated into the global financial ecosystem. Third, network effects. Nearly all global DeFi protocols are built on USD stablecoins, giving them an insurmountable first-mover advantage. In short, the CCP system is fundamentally incompatible with the core requirements for currency internationalization: free convertibility, free capital movement, stable value, and policy transparency. What's even more worrying is that any RMB stablecoins used for Belt and Road projects or trade settlements among Shanghai Cooperation Organization members may soon face strict regulation, meaning every penny of income and expenditure could be tightly monitored by the highest authorities. This maximum control model has sparked deep concerns about personal privacy and property rights. In extreme cases, it could become a tool for algorithmic governance, turning financial activity into an extension of political control. Most critically, since the RMB is neither a global reserve currency nor a widely used international settlement currency, RMB stablecoins have almost no practical international application outside countries already friendly to the CCP. In a July 3rd Bloomberg TV interview, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent dismissed the idea that there is room for a global role for China's yuan, calling it a complete fallacy. He pointed out, they have a non-convertible currency. So how are they going to be a reserve currency? Bessent emphasized that Beijing maintains capital controls and that 1.4 billion Chinese people want to get their money out of the country. The sine qua non for a reserve currency is that it trades freely. His criticism lays bare the core obstacle to RMB internationalization: capital controls and lack of convertibility. Issues that stand in stark contrast to the full openness and global trust enjoyed by the US dollar. The core issue, a system at odds with global finance. In reality, CCP leadership has overlooked a crucial fact. Stablecoins are not just a technological product. They are an extension of capitalist ideals, serving as both a safeguard for personal freedom and property security, and as a cornerstone of future Western political and economic systems. Commenting on the CCP's push for RMB internationalization, online writer Wu Pengfei once said, "We're still missing the key factor. For a currency to hold steady long-term, its purchasing power depends on a tightly controlled money supply. Outside the US dollar and euro, all currencies are sovereign. Governments can print as much as they want. Look at Zimbabwe. Janitors earn billions a month because of runaway printing. The Federal Reserve is independent, no interference from the US government or Congress. Same with the European Central Bank, not controlled by Germany, France, Italy, or any EU body. Only the Americans and Europeans figured this out. Build a system where the government keeps its hands off the money printer. Who is going to trust a currency that can be cranked out endlessly and lose value overnight? 40 years ago, 15 RMB covered a college student's monthly expenses. Now it buys one bowl of beef noodles. No country is going to rush to hoard a currency like that. You need an independent printing press, ironclad financial discipline, and a government that borrows or issues bonds when it needs cash. not one that just hits print. Pair that with real economic power, and maybe you can challenge the dollar or euro. So the next time you hear grand talk about the RMB going global, just keep scrolling. Thank you for watching Secret China. If thoughtful, no-agenda journalism matters to you, we'd love for you to subscribe, share your views down below, and be part of the conversation. Catch you next time. Stay aware and take care.